once we have like after 3 dates or however many dates, they will ghost me. That's all that they like. Once you've given them what they wanted, once you've benefited them, they don't have any use for you anymore.
Men either look at me as a piece of meat because of how I dress and because of like my social media.
No woman wants to be treated like an object. I just drove 3 hours and now this guy isn't responding. No woman wants to be treated like an object.
No woman wants to be treated like an object.
They're sleeping on like the floor and on these like couches and bean bags like in the living room, and this guy's pulling my pants down, like me against the kitchen island, and I'm like, I mean, this is fun.
Yeah. The way men talk about women is super dehumanizing, and
I could really honestly see me getting on by every boy in this bar right now.
Like, you don't drink, right?
No, I don't drink. And I don't smoke.
Nothing.
Just suck.
Be promiscuous. You go suck that D.
I don't know what happened to dating. It's just sad. It's really sad.
You're just gobbling that cock. Yes.
Couldn't even remember his wallet. I had to pay for his steak.
I don't have enough value for anybody to try to get to know me on a deeper level than just trying to have with me.
I'm tired of dating in my 40s. I'm tired of men not knowing what they want.
I hate men so much. All of you.
Snot, blood, sweat, and tears dripping all over this.
As many guys as you want.
Yes, exactly.
And them as best friends in pairs. Period.
So in part 1, we focus on how modern feminism and hookup culture are making women feel absolutely worthless and alone. Check that one out if you haven't already, because it forms the basis for part 2, in which we're going to focus more on the respect argument. Now, I'm not here to argue that men do respect women, even though plenty of them do, because that's not the point here. What is the point is that when you have a problem, you need to focus on the source of the problem and not the symptom. Because the lack of respect that women are experiencing these days is for a large part self-induced.
My husband really likes what I do in the bedroom, but I don't think we can talk about it.
So it's just between husband and wife?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got to.
Here's a girl calling herself a Yeah, I'm gonna get lucky tonight.
I don't want to get into a hot tub and pitch investors my business while holding a beer. What woman wants to do that while wearing a bikini?
Oh snap, this is so weird.
Yeah, try respecting that. So clearly the sexualization argument is some hypocritical bull, since so many women are constantly sexualizing themselves, and if you agree with this, then please drop a like on the video and comment down below what you think. Now currently, modern feminists are not just advocating for sexual equality, they actually go way beyond that, and they are pushing women into becoming the very toxic, narcissistic boys that they claim to hate.
Don't send a "thank you for a nice time" message after a first date.
The key is not to need him.
Lay his game on him. Mind a little bit.
Because I had a man slide in my DMs and buy me a brand new 2021 MacBook Pro for nothing in return.
And just FYI, my preference is to have 4 men on the roster at all times.
Telling women to have a phase and that they should hook up with every single guy they can find is proving to be counterproductive when you want to be respected by those same men.
Literally minutes before he shows up, another girl messages me about him.
So naturally, I'm just annoyed as because every single guy that decides to make plans with you either flakes, ghosts you.
They don't really care about the relationship anymore, and eventually they just find another dream girl and that girl takes your place.
I also feel like our generation has normalized like hooking up with someone first before you date them. But the unfortunate reality is a lot of times guys see that as completely transactional and you are fully disposable to them.
Not to mention that plenty of women aren't even enjoying this.
You want to sleep with me, you want to spend time with me, you want to go on dates with me, you want to ring me all the time, but you don't want me to be a girlfriend. Why? I just want a partner. I just want a partnership. I want someone that I can ring up and tell about my day. Why is that so hard?
It's just exponential how alone and how behind you can feel just because you're not married and because you're without kids.
Society now thinks that people are disposable.
So it's rare to get genuity or honesty or integrity or hard work or acceptance.
So I'm 41. I don't have any children. It is not my choice that I don't have any children.
Modern feminism shifts all of the blame to men and is keeping these women in a state of complete delusion. Because when you blast your naked ass all over the internet, then why are you surprised that these men only want sex and nothing else?
Let's hang out is not a date. Let me come over and hang out with you is not a date. So why am I then dating? Because that's all I'm getting nowadays.
And like I said, is fun, but it gets old. I'm 32 years old and I'm ready to settle down.
I mean, the lack of accountability that modern feminism is instilling in these women is absolutely insane, and it's completely preventing these women from seeing that their own choices are heavily impacting how men view them, and more importantly, how much effort men are willing to put in.
How did we get to this point where we literally can't even text a few words like, hey, I'm not interested?
Yeah, casual is definitely not for me. Since becoming single a couple of years ago, I had a few casual hookups, and every single time it was the same kind of like, I'm gonna pretend to care about you temporarily until I don't anymore. And then I got my feelings hurt, like every time, so.
What happened to men being the pursuers? Y'all don't chase anymore. The effort is so minimal. Women have just become so aggressive that you no longer have to chase, and it's just available at a moment's notice, and the swipe variety is just too attainable.
So when modern feminists are saying that men do not respect women and that women are constantly being sexualized, they are totally correct. But what they leave out is that it is women who are actually massively contributing to all of that. And that is the biggest problem with modern feminism. Modern feminism is completely absolving women from any accountability in today's problems, and it lays the responsibility for these problems with men.
If somebody wants to strategically approach something with their clothes off, that is their prerogative, and I support that and respect that.
You were your cousin, yeah? I think there's something so special about someone who just really doesn't give a
Yeah,
and like
no shame.
It's empowering. It's empowering.
Like she is taking some kind of moral high ground to Dom. What? Because she doesn't have a fans account? I'm sorry, so what, girl? We all use our bodies to do work. All of us, every last one of us. Workers use their bodies and they're in a special way to do work, but we are all using our bodies.
These fangirls are literal workers selling nudes and making amateur but somehow it's men that are the problem when it comes to sexualizing women. How the does that make any sense? These women are literally turning themselves into a cheap commodity that can easily be bought and sold and replaced by another cheap commodity. And somehow, this is all being sold to women as some form of empowerment.
It's murky in the area of like positive female empowerment, for money area. Doesn't necessarily make you feel good.
The sad reality of it all is that not only are these women not feeling empowered at all, it actually breaks them down completely, and it makes them feel very worthless and alone.
And so when I think about this situation, it seems like the thing to do is to stop doing fans and to work on getting everything removed. And like I said, no, it's never gonna be fully gone, but maybe it would be easier for him. And maybe then I could feel like I matter and I'm important and I'm not ashamed. I'm not something to be ashamed of. And I can meet his parents.
Now that I'm rebranding myself and I'm trying to get away from fans and not do fans, I see like a huge drop in my income if I don't do fans, and I feel stuck sometimes that I have to continue to do fans in order to make any money. Like if I want to go be an actress, how many people are gonna hire me? Yeah, so there's times where like it gets to me and I know it's the enemy, I know it's the devil, just saying like you might as well just continue doing that because it's gonna be really hard for you to be successful in life and do anything else.
And then when they find out I'm like a real person with real feelings, they're like, oh no, I just wanted like a doll that I could discard whenever I wanted. And I'm like, how the do you think that makes me feel?
Sounds pretty bad, right? Well, here's that same woman on Instagram. And here she is on Twitter. You see, she has no problem with selling herself as a disposable doll, but then she's surprised that people treat her that way. And this is what happens with the majority of women that start fans, and it's absolutely insane how they do not see that their own personal choices are impacting their happiness. This lack of accountability is also fueled by women constantly gaslighting each other by pretending that all women are perfect goddesses who rainbows and don't have to improve themselves at all.
Help with that on the bill that you wanted to take me out to that I had to get ready for? I don't think so! In a patriarchy created by men where men are paid more than women even though women typically do a better job.
And when modern feminists are confronted with the fact that most women are more lonely and miserable than ever, they just double down on their faulty claims and they say that everything can be solved by just having more freedom.
To prioritize freedom above all other values was fabulous. The problem is that we haven't quite yet done it. We need more freedom. We need to push that freedom lever again and again and again until everything comes right. And I think that was the error. I think actually freedom is not the preeminent value. I think it has to be balanced against other values.
So what all of this shows you is that you cannot have endless amounts of freedom without consequences, and that you need a certain level of balance so that people can actually develop healthy relationships. But if you keep pushing women to be as sexually liberated as possible and sleep with 2 or 3 guys in a single day, then sex itself becomes a cheap and worthless commodity. And yes, this only applies to a small group of men, since modern feminism is telling women to raise their standards and only go after the top 10% of men. But this then does apply to the majority of women, who are then easily replaceable by those same men.
So on Tinder, I think it's the top 10% of the most attractive men get 60% of matches from women, whereas men who are less attractive are basically getting no attention at all. This top 10% of men, they're having a whale of a time. You know, they've got pick of the bunch. They can go, you know, meet up with a new woman every night potentially.
So the irony of it all is that modern feminism has become a vicious circle of women telling other women to strip themselves of every trait and skill that makes them attractive and valuable to men, and then to simply use men for whatever they want, while at the same time complaining that men only want from women. Well, here's an idea. Maybe you need to reevaluate some of these policies that are clearly not working and seem to be having the opposite effect. But hey, that would require some honest, objective analysis and the critiquing of feminist ideology, and we all know that is incredibly sexist. This was part 2 of women being destroyed by modern feminism. Please check out part 1 if you haven't already, it's linked down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos.